What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome back to episode 12 of the San Antonio Marshals Flashback franchise. Just got back from my work trip, so I'm still incredibly jet-lagged, and I thought I actually had a video scheduled for this weekend so that I could just, rest, chill out, and then start fresh next week. Oh no, I still need to upload for Saturday and Sunday, so I figured, it's a little bit quick. We're starting to run through these Marshall episodes, but you guys are definitely enjoying them, and I just figured, what better way for me to get back into the mill of things here than to just jump back in to our franchise series. So we're coming fresh on the tails of a big offseason in episode 11, which saw us add the 2006 Rose Bowl as our top picks. We had 2 first-round picks because we did flip Tony Romo. I can't remember where. I want to say Jacksonville within the division. And we're able to end up pulling in Vince Young. We brought in Reggie Bush. We got Greg Jennings. I don't know who else was Whitworth the rookie? We got Andrew Whitworth, 77 superstar. Just to name a few. We also brought in Brent Grimes. We got Devin Hester. We got him real late. So it was a big draft. It was a big draft for us. We got a lot of playmakers, and you're coming off the tails of what we're not going to talk about ever again in this series, I hope, an 0-16 season. So I don't know how our team last year, I think we're 82, 83, 84, somewhere in that territory, go 0-16, but I mean, there's a possibility it could happen again. There's a possibility we could be like the Bucks in, the 70s or something like that, where they almost went 2 seasons without winning a game. There's a chance, but to prevent that, our big rivalry, the rivalry that's outside of the division, if you know the storyline of how this franchise came to be, our big rivalry is against Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys. And there is going to be no better way to kick off revenge, the comeback tour from that 0-16 season, than going in to AT&T Stadium and destroying the Dallas Cowboys. A Texas matchup, with Vince Young, maybe the most polarizing, most popular college player that Texas has ever produced. So it's going to be a big one. It's going to be a big one. Quick scouting report here of the Dallas Cowboys. They got Roy Williams. They have Carson Palmer, who's now in 99. Let's see, Antonio Bryan, I remember. Greg Ellis, I remember. Will Shields. They got a veteran offensive line here. Larry Allen still there. I'm going to be completely honest with you, though. This is not a team that I think on paper is better than us. Sure, they got a lot of nines. You chalk it up with a center doesn't mean anything. A fullback doesn't mean anything. But I think we're going to bring the pain. I think Vince Young, in his debut NFL performance, I think he's going to have a strong game. And I almost promise you we're going to get a dub here week number 1. All right, we got a big 3rd and 4 here. Want to get off the field. Dallas has pretty much been dominating the run game right now. We haven't seen what Carson Palmer is going to be able to bring via the pass. Let's dial up Jared Allen off the edge. And that was a little bit of a glitch animation, but the pressure. Asante Samuel's already in the head of the wide receiver, and we force a punt. All right, here we go. First drive. We're just over midfield here. Reggie Bush has been fairly dynamic, but nothing crazy yet. We're going to bring in this drive just because I feel like it could be a monumental drive. Look at that. Great presence, and he... Oh, come on! Greg Jones. You got to catch that, Bricks. Oh, let's go, Billy Miller. Big-time reception, putting us up into the red zone, and right now, Vince Young can't do any wrong as we're going to open up the second quarter, trying to get a tutty. Maybe a little Reggie Bush C4 special. Let's try it out. Oh, no. Oh, that was dirty. That was dirty. The spin move with Reggie. The spin move's incredibly overpowered, which we actually literally found out like 2 weeks ago on the channel. It's going to be even more overpowered with Reggie Bush. First touchdown of his career. First touchdown of the new era San Antonio Marshals. And it's only the beginning. We're going to smoke this Dallas Cowboy team. Oh, pick that off. There you go. Jamie Sharper. Take the knee. Yeah. Oh, that's a flag. Late hit. Either way. Whatever. We're in his head. We got rent. We were renting out a nice little chunk of Carson Palmer's head right here. What a garbage throw. Trying to find Antonio Bryant. Oh, that late hit, too. That's garbage. Good job, Reggie. Putting us in the 10, 28 seconds left. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm not going for a field goal. This is touchdown or bust. Oh, beautiful. There you go. Andre Johnson. The first of what's going to be probably 400 touchdown pass between the two. Oh, it's Jennings. It's Jennings, actually, not even Andre Johnson. That's even better. He puts the team on his back. The 2 rookies connecting. You've heard of Marvin Harrison and Peyton Manning within this division in the AFC South. Get ready for Vince Young and Greg Jennings.
Oh, yeah, yeah!
Someone jump on that. Someone jump on that. The sack. Fumble. Let's go. By 99. I have no idea who that is, but that was dope. Go, Billy Miller, get in there, number 89, there we go. Is that Estes? Is that Estes? I don't even know who that is. Bergen. Yeah, sure. Bergen with zeros on the clock. Give us a nice 21-0 lead at half. Go Bergen. Get your Bergen jerseys right now on back order. Oh, get rocked. Man, Dave Pollock's 99. He's the guy with the sack fumble. Gets his second sack. There we go. There we go. I'm liking it. All right, trying to preserve the shutouts. 4th and 2 on the 7. They're going to have to, well, they don't technically have to get a touchdown, but I think they're going to have to get a touchdown. Let's bring the pain. Let's keep the shutout alive, and there we go. Big V up the middle with the tackle for loss. And let's just close this one out. No, jaw-dropping stats, but for an 0-16 team, getting a shutout on the road against the Dallas Cowgirls doesn't get any bigger than that. Let's close it out. We're going to actually stay right here. We're going to shut it out here with a Reggie Bush run. Let's see if we can show you the new and improved run game here. Watch this be like a tackle for loss. Oh my God, there we go. Boop. Oh, this is going to be perfect. 98 yards, Reggie Bush. Come on. Come on. Go. Yes. Let's go. 98 yards. He brought it to you live. I didn't even know that was going to happen. Couldn't have scripted it. Ooh, let's bring up scripting around Madden. Couldn't have scripted it any better. Oh, that is awesome. That is awesome. It's a new era. Yes, it is. And Reggie Bush, this is pre-Kim Kardashian Reggie Bush. His mind is all on football, and he is an animal.
I don't even know where you're sitting at.
There you have it. 28-0. From 0-16 to 28-0 over our big rivals. We went from having the worst run game maybe I've ever seen in a franchise we've done on this channel to... I don't know what Reggie Bush finished final stat line. We had a 91-yard rush. We literally had a 91-yard rushing touchdown that you guys saw live. That was the equivalent of like 4 games worth of rushing yards for our team. So let's look. 28-0. Could have asked for a better result. We'll look more so at our stats. Vince Young, near perfect QBR, 10 of 14, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers. Pretty much did everything we needed him to do. We controlled the ball on the clock. We had 11 carries, 142 yards, 2 touchdowns, average almost 13 yards per carry for Reggie Bush. We got on the receiving standpoint, he had 4 catches, 41 yards. So that's 180 plus yards for Reggie Bush. Bergen, he's from Lehigh. I don't know a lot about him. Probably a big fan of the Trolls movies. He got a touchdown. Greg Jennings got a touchdown. Definitely want to see maybe a better rapport between Andre Johnson and Vince Young, but the game plan this week was actually dictated by what the Cowboys did. The Cowboys ran the ball a lot. The Cowboys controlled the clock a lot, and outside of that really long drive that we have, the opening drive, we pretty much, there wasn't a whole lot of clock to work with, and we were winning, so strategy just said we're going to run the ball. So that's why you didn't see the big stat lines here from Vince Young, Andre Johnson, Wes Welker. On the defensive side, Brent Grimes as a rookie, starting at nickel, 5 total tackles, 2 TFLs. That was great. We got 2 sacks from Dave Pollock. We got 1 sack from O.C. Manure, an interception for Kerry Rhodes and Jamie Sharper. And the force, man, that was probably the biggest play on the defensive side. Dave Pollock got the big hit to force a fumble, recovered it as well, which is big from a guy that had, a meh rookie season last year as our first round pick, and then coming out like that, starting it this way. That is awesome. So this is episode 12, and I feel like this is the best performance we've put up to date. So we still got the rest of the first half of this season to jump into. Hopefully we don't sizzle out. Hopefully we can keep this momentum going, and let's get into it. Following up a big Week 1 victory, Week 2 divisional rival Indianapolis Colts, Mr. Peyton Manning, and look at that consistent play through all 4 quarters to get us a victory. 0-16, and we start off this season 2-0 very quickly. 24-7 is the victory. Vince Young, just unbelievable on the day. 354 passing yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Reggie Bush, the run game, it is what it is in the sim. Billy Miller, the rapport is there. Andre Johnson, a good game. Greg Jennings, Wes Welker, and Bradford all getting tutties. Defensively speaking, we got a couple sacks. We brought the pressure on Peyton Manning, Jared Allen, Vince Wilfork, and Brett Kiesel. No turnovers to speak of, but 2-0 for your Marshals. Week 3, another divisional matchup against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and our defense was the tail of the tape here. We won 17-3, but holding the Jags to 3 points versus last year where I think they skunked us both games. We're trending in the right direction. We're 3-0. Can't we go 16-0? That would be awesome. That would be awesome. But we got Vince Young, 181 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 pick. The first turnover of his young career, but the more important stat is he's 3-0 to start his career out of Texas. We got 93 yards from Reggie Bush, so finally, that's ridiculous given how poor we were last year with the sim. 23 carries, 93 yards, that's huge. We're definitely treading in the right direction. Billy Miller, another touchdown. Andre Johnson opens his account on the season, 4 catches, 50 yards, and a tutty. Sharper led the team 8 tackles. We had a sack from Osi Umenyiora. We get no turnovers to speak of, but we're 3-0. And, counting the Dallas Cowboys, we beat 3 rivals to start the season up. And now, quick turnaround, as in week 4, we are hosting the Indianapolis Colts just 2 weeks after defeating them. And then week 4 against the Colts, like I highlighted right at the end of the last little preview there, you don't want to play Peyton Manning this close together. He will figure out and make the adjustments and punish you. And there is our first loss on the season, an incredibly slow start. We didn't get any points in the first half. So you don't want to, you don't want to come up against a deficit against Peyton Manning. He's just going to kill you. 4 touchdowns for him on the day, but not a bad showing. Vince Young, 200 yards, 2 touchdowns, no turnovers, which was pretty good. 44 yards for Reggie Bush. Wes Welker, nice little performance right now. But man, Greg Jennings, I kind of thought it would be a Vince Young, Andre Johnson pairing, but it seems to be Vince Young, Greg Jennings is his favorite wide receiver. Defensively, Foreman had 10 tackles, a sack on the day. Osi Umenyiora, David Pollock had a sack. We got a pick from Sheldon Brown. But unfortunately, the winning streak stops here. We're still 3-1 on the season, but it's always tough to play Peyton Manning twice in the span of 3 weeks with a rookie quarterback and young players across the ball to expect to win both games. Week 5 against the Giants, and we get back on our winning ways, dumping them 23-17. Taking a look at the stats here. Offensively speaking, Vince Young, just a safe game, which is good. A lot of concerns when he was coming to Texas that he would be turnover prone. But 210 yards, a touchdown on the day. That's a clean performance. 70 yards and a touchdown from Reggie Bush. So making that first-round investment on Reggie Bush versus, say, Mario Williams was on the board. It seems to be paying dividends, at least from a sim. You saw in the gameplay we had, Reggie Bush, anytime I'm on the sticks, we're going to go up. But the fact that we're getting production in the sim, that is huge for our squad. Billy Miller continuing to have a great start to the season. Andre Johnson starting to find his groove just a little bit. Defensively, we got a sack from Osi Umenyiora, interception from Asante Samuel as we continue to get back and gain some momentum as we enter the bye week. So getting a preview here of the 2007 draft class, I've just kind of gone through the initial scouting, got players that I remember that are definitely noteworthy to talk to you guys. I'll give you guys a quick refresher. This is the draft class with Jamarcus Russell. It's why we got Vince Young last year, because it could have been interesting bringing in Jamarcus Russell if I didn't do the replacement series, and it'd be nice to do maybe a little revival there. But I drafted Vince Young knowing that this year's QB class was weak. But you got Jamarcus Russell, you got Brady Quinn, you got Jared Zabransky, who was the face of the greatest college football game I've ever watched, Boise State, Oklahoma, and the Fiesta Bowl. We got Chris Leak, who is really good for the Florida Gators as well. We do need a backup quarterback, so I wouldn't completely rule out Zabransky or Leak potentially becoming the backup for Vince Young. Let's see here. The running backs, great running back class. This is where it was more risky making the investment last year and getting Reggie Bush, because Adrian Peterson and Marshawn Lynch, both first rounders, both probably would have been in play for us for our first round selection. Both still technically could be in play for us because they both complement what we're looking for. Now, while it says Marshawn Lynch is an elusive back, we do know that the trucking is there, and Adrian Peterson, both those guys' games complement what we have already on roster in Reggie Bush and Darren Sproles. I think we could have a nice three-headed backfield with all three of those guys if that's how our draft board played out. A couple UDFAs here, Ahmad Bradshaw and Pierre Thomas. Got LaRon McClain at fullback, even though we do have a good fullback, just worth noting. Wide receiver, got Calvin Johnson, Megatron. If there's going to be no way that we can select him, but you never know. There's 1% chance that we could try to find a way to get, in my opinion, the most talented wide receiver that's ever played the game. They got Ted Ginn, Dwayne Bowe, Anthony Gonzalez, Sidney Rice, Jacoby Jones, James Jones, Mike Sims Walker, shout out Jags fans, and Steve Breston, shout out Cardinals fans. I feel like we've done a good job drafting wide receivers, so maybe one of these guys could be in play. I don't think it will be a first rounder unless there is some way. I'm not gonna lie. I probably will try to trade up and see if I can get Calvin Johnson, but we're probably pretty good when it comes to wide receiver right now. We had Greg Jennings last year, but here's a very interesting one. Greg Olsen, I would be all over getting G-Reg with that third leg. First round, they got Brent Selleck's Florida Gator, thinking about college football right now. It's so close. But Philadelphia Eagle legend. So either one of these tight ends, I'm probably going to select at least one of them, if not both. Billy Miller's nice. He's having some really big weeks here in the opening parts of the season, but he's almost 30, so we need to start thinking about his replacement. Just some offensive linemen. We got Joe Thomas, one of the best. We got Clint Odenberg. You might remember him. He's the guy that makes Madden now. Rest of the offensive line class is not that great. I'm glad that that's where we've been building up the last couple of drafts, so now we can kind of start to look at skill positions, defensive side of the things. We got Khalil here, Joe Staley, Marshall Yanda. Like, there's some big-name guys. Obviously, Yanda is going to present really, really good value in the third round. But other than that, I don't think we're going to invest a high pick on an offensive lineman. We got Lamar Woodley, Charles Johnson, Brian Robinson, Amobi Okoye, Brandon Mebane, Paul Soliai. I mean, the defensive line class, not the greatest. We also have pretty good depth there. I might want to look at a D tackle at somewhere. I think Mebane or Soliai. I want a run stuffer. That's kind of how we're building it right now with run stuffers. We got Big V there. I think one of these guys could be a nice addition. Linebacking core is pretty nice. You got Lawrence Timmons, Paul Posluszny, Patrick Willis, one of the greatest linebackers ever. Like, again, if we're putting in guys that could potentially be in play for us in the first round, I think Greg Olsen and Pat Willis would be the first two. You got John Beeson, who also was on that 7th Floor Crew rap song. If you don't know what that is, YouTube it. David Harris, nice linebacker. In the secondary, you got Revis Island. You got Leon Hall, had a nice career. LaRon Landry, the biggest arms in football. You got Reggie Nelson. He was great for my Gators, so maybe my Florida Gator gut bias might make him a higher target for us. Got a couple big hitters here in Merriweather and Golson. Eric Weddle in the second round. That could be a potential pick for us to maybe reach ahead and use one of our first-round selections on him. So there's just a quick preview, guys, of the draft class. Let me know kind of what kind of direction you might potentially want me to go. Who do you want me to target? Do you want me to get a power back like an AP or Marshawn Lynch to complement what we have in Darren Sproles and clearly Reggie Bush, who's going really, really hot for us? Do we trade up for Calvin Johnson? Do we mortgage the place, mortgage the whole franchise to get Calvin Johnson? Or do we hope that maybe a Greg Olsen or a Patrick Willis becomes available to us? Let's see the order here. We're probably... Okay, it's probably going to be Greg Olsen. We're 4-1 right now. We're probably not going to have a shot at getting like a Revis or Willis without trading up. So I'm going to tell you right now, if we can get a Greg Olsen or an Eric Weddle or something in that range, I'm going to be very happy. Coming out of the bye in week number 6 or 7, we're going up against the 4-1 Raiders. It was a battle of 4-1s, and look at that. We flexed on them. 34-10 was the victory. They just, we outclassed them. Look at that. Vince Young studied the tape all bye week. Came in 200 yards, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. I'm loving how much he's protecting the football. It's awesome. 100 yards on the day for Reggie Bush. Darren Sproles got a rushing touchdown. Billy Miller continues to be incredibly hot. We got a touchdown here for Greg Jennings. I would say I'm a little bit worried about Andre Johnson and Wes Welker not getting that immediate chemistry with Vince Young at quarterback, but we know that when we get into the game plays, when we get into the tough games, if we can continue this form and make a playoff push, we're going to utilize Andre and Wes Welker. Defensively, we got 8 tackles and a pick from Brent Grimes. I like seeing that. Jared Allen got a sack. We skunk the Raiders and moved to 5-1 on the season. All right, as we get ready for the final game of this episode, I want to look at some of our contracts and players that are coming up that we're definitely not going to want to let go. First up, it's Andre Johnson, the best wide receiver in football. Now, while he hasn't got off to the greatest start with Vince Young at QB, we know just how damn dangerous he is, so we're going to make sure we lock him up, which is great. We got Asante Samuel, who's been a baller for us. 93, he's 25, well in his prime. $32 million seems kind of low, and he takes that money, so sure. Awesome. We have one of the best kickers in the league in Chris Brown. We'll try to give him some money. We have a lot of salary cap, so we can afford to pay a lot of people. And lastly, we'll see if OC, man, I like it. I feel like if we were 0-16 and this was the contract year, all these guys' morale would be shot and they wouldn't be taking these deals. But the fact that, we just got 4 90s locked up just like that is a beautiful thing. We're not going to do every single player this week because I want to do a little bit more of a deep dive on our roster, especially see, can we move on from McKinney? Do we have proper depth behind him at center to take over? Same with Billy Miller. Like, is it going to be pretty apparent that we can select a Greg Olsen in the draft and don't have to spend that money on a Billy Miller. Same with Gary Walker. He's 33. I mean, all these guys that are getting around that 30 mark. We'll come back. We'll probably have another part 2 of in-house negotiating, but we got all of our superstars locked up, which is huge. Now let's get into the final game of this episode and see if we can finish 6-1 through half the season. And unfortunately, to finish out the episode, we went up, and now we're actually both tied. We lost to the Jacksonville Jaguars, so they go up to 5-2. We fall down to 5-2, and things are going to be very, very hot down the stretch for the AFC South. But we falter here, 32-17 to the Jags. Jeff Garcia had himself a hell of a day, put on a clinic. Still wasn't a bad showing for Vince Young, 281 yards, 2 touchdowns to 1 interception. The run game wasn't quite there, which kind of sucks. Billy Miller got a touchdown. Andre Johnson, decent performance. Same with Wes Welker, which was a positive. He had to find a positive in an overall negative. Got a couple sacks here. Jared Allen, Vince Wilfork, Dave Pollock all got sacks. No turnovers to speak of as we fall to the Jags 30-17. So that will do it for episode, what are we at, 12 of the San Antonio Marshals franchise, as you can see right there, going from 0-16 now to being halfway through the 06 season and being 5-2, tied there with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Everyone's been fairly competitive. Very surprising to see the Colts, though, at 3-4, but you never know. With Peyton Manning, they could always turn it around on the backstretch, and this could be tooth and nail, the battle of the NFL. Who is going to win the AFC South? Who is going to get that wild card berth? And I hope to God it's going to be the Young Bucks, the Young Guns here on the San Antonio. I'm just going to guess the average age probably of our teams 26, 27, maybe even 20. No, definitely not 25. I'd say 26. So we definitely have to be one of the youngest teams in the league, and we're definitely trending in the right direction. And you couldn't have asked for a better start after finishing last year 0-16. So thank you guys for tuning in to another episode of the San Antonio Marshals. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.
Money I'm spending, I'm out and I'm shopping. You talking that shit, well you talking and talking. Look at my options, look at me dropping. Ass in the game, like who are you stopping? Not me.